Good morning, geeks and gamers. It's Jeremy from Pensacola. Never mind Orlando. I can't even remember where I'm at right now.
I was like, what?
Yeah, so I was gonna say no longer in Pensacola, in Orlando, and we are here for Geeks and Gamers Daily. I am joined by the most positive man on the internet, the diversity, inclusion, and representation officer of Friday Night Tights, Ryan Kennel. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I am also not in Pensacola. I'm in Orlando. And yeah, we had another massive box office this weekend, except for Disney. Once again, it seems like every other studio can find ways to get some hits out there, except for Disney. In the same weekend that Barbie and Oppenheimer have a massive hold, Haunted Mansion has a disastrous opening weekend. But that's just the new normal for anything related to Disney.
Yeah, but people just don't want to go to the movies. That's why Disney's failing. It's just, audiences are still scared of the pandemic.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten their 18th booster yet. That's when they'll be safe and they'll feel comfortable enough to go back to the movies yet. So don't panic. That's why Disney's struggling. It's also too hot outside in Orlando. That's why they're not going to the theme parks, even though they're going to Universal. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. They're not watching streaming at all. That's why they're not watching Disney Plus shows. Meanwhile, Netflix continues to grow their subscriber base. It's okay, guys. There's plenty of reason to explain why Disney's failing across the board. And it's mainly just toxic YouTubers making it up. That's what I heard.
That's gotta be it. It can't be families just rejecting the brand wholeheartedly. It couldn't be anything like that.
Yeah.
I think what's wild is obviously Warner Brothers had so many struggles. Like we've looked at their DC movies, and even if Barbie makes like 1.5 billion, I don't know if the profits are enough to, outweigh all the money that all the DC movies will lose, like when it's all said and done throughout this year. But even Warner Brothers finds a way to get $1 billion film. Paramount does it. Universal does it. Right now, pretty much the only ones that haven't been able to do it on their own are Disney. Avatar was a 20th Century Fox thing that was in the works long before Disney bought it. And obviously, No Way Home was a Sony project. So Disney's sitting there. They're the only ones that can't figure out how to do it post-pandemic, apparently.
Yeah, it's so funny to watch it play out, and the excuses for the Disney shills out there. Reality is smacking you right in your ugly faces, and there's nothing you can do about it. We were right. We've been right all along. Disney has just destroyed their brand. They've destroyed their reputation, and they've alienated a massive amount of their audience, and no one should feel sorry for them because they get exactly what they deserve. But look at all these wonderful people here in our chat. Good to see all of you here. Willie Dave in the house, Nick Brone in the house. Let's see. King of Diet Coke, Sandstorm, Phil TMNT. Are you excited for that new Turtles movie, Phil? Are you excited? I mean, that's just going to destroy the box office, apparently. I heard, who was I listening to the other day? Somebody was talking about Oppenheimer going to have another week or two in IMAX, and then Blue Beetle's going to take it over. It's like, God, is Blue Beetle really going to replace Oppenheimer and premium IMAX screens? Holy shit.
I mean, maybe, there might be obviously these contracts get worked out, like these deals get worked out, well in advance of anything that happens. So, I mean, that's the reason Haunted Mansion got all of AMC's like premium Dolby screens and everything like that, instead of something like Barbie or whatever, or Oppenheimer. I imagine that theater's probably regretting those decisions right now.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have the ability to change, course on something like that with Blue Beetle. I don't think, like, once it's locked in, if that's the case, then they have to remove Oppenheimer.
So to be fair, what the IMAX people said, came out and said is, it'll exit at some point in the next few weeks. And then they're looking at bringing it back.
Okay.
Like bringing Oppenheimer back to IMAX.
Okay.
Because they think that would probably be better for, in the long term after probably like their 1 or 2 weeks of Blue Beetle, whatever the deal is, you know what I mean?
Oh, God, man, that's just going to be such a bad, you imagine like wanting to go see Oppenheimer and you're like, oh, Blue Beetle showing an IMAX and there's literally nobody there. Wow.
We'll see if those projections budge. $12 to $17 million opening weekend. So
oof. Ooh, but yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy watching the box office play out how it has, and people are going to the movies. They are going to the movies. They're just not going to see Disney, and that is funny. All right, we got the Shock Master for $2. So you were the man that rules the world. Hope you're feeling better, Ryan, for another $2. Says the Shock Master.
Thank you, the Shock Master. I'm feeling better. Yeah, I've got like a little bit of like congestion. I'm feeling good though.
That is funny that we have the Shockmaster account in the chat, and we had
Shockmaster's here.
We had 199 likes, 199 likes there for a minute. Now we're over that. We're over 200 now. Orange Juices took wife to see Barbie. She made us walk out as soon as Ken told trans Barbie he's beautiful. To my surprise, my wife hated the movie. Yeah, I watched the first 40 minutes and I just didn't watch anymore.
If you've only watched the first 40 minutes, you've missed the best parts of the movie and also the worst parts of the movie.
So. Yeah, I just didn't care to continue. So maybe I will at some point. I'm not sure. Cobra Cast.
Really any need to
other
than just to like have an opinion on like the kind of like the biggest like thing going on in pop culture right now. But there's really no reason to watch it other than that, unless it's just like interest, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my Cobra Cast chat has demanded that I watch Idiocracy. I've never seen Idiocracy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Basically Idiocracy is just real life at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I haven't watched it a long ass time. I imagine if I watched it now it'd be really funny because of the parallels. Yeah.
So I'm supposed to be checking that out very soon.
I can't believe you've never watched that. That's funny.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Mike Judge fan. You know what I mean? And you know he's the one that made Idiocracy. Got it. Good to Beavis and Butthead creator. He did Office Space. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like the movie a lot. King of Diet Coke says Ryan's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
That's right.
Thunderstrike said I enjoyed Oppenheimer, but I wish Nolan would have shown Oppenheimer defeating Thanos in the rap battle. Shout out to epic rap battles of history. Yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer's crushing it. I don't think that the fact that this 3-hour rated R dialogue heavy biopic is crushing it. I think that really destroys the nonsense that it's too long. Clearly audiences are there's nobody in Hollywood that could get this many people to show up to a 3-hour rated R biopic that's full of dialogue than Nolan. And I think the Barbenheimer marketing accidentally has helped both of these films a lot. It's a genius marketing ploy. Obviously, it was not thought up by the studio executives at all. It was done by the internet, and it's taken the internet by storm. And I think it's benefited both films greatly. But yeah, it's been pretty funny to watch it all play out.
I think there was like you had like it was something like 10% of people that went and saw Oppenheimer opening weekend said they were originally going to see Barbie, but there were no tickets, so they went and saw Oppenheimer. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was the other way as well, especially for people that like would have wanted an IMAX ticket or whatever. Who the fuck goes to the theater without buying tickets anymore? That's wild to me. That sounds like something you would do, to be honest, Jeremy, based on your like pizza purchases. Yeah. Like, why don't you do that at a theater?
I mean, I'm not handling my fucking food. I mean,
you never get popcorn there?
I mean, you don't order your food in advance, though. Like that, I don't order my fucking food in advance at a fucking movie theater. I still go stand in line like a normal human being.
Well, yeah, but don't you want to go and see who's going to be handling your popcorn before you commit to a whole movie?
I do, but I do. And I'll also bring my own food to the movies more so than anything. I mean,
so if you've bought tickets to go see Oppenheimer and you
do you not bring your own fucking food to the movies? Like, what psychopath are you?
What do you mean bring my own
First
food?
of all, I don't eat popcorn.
I do not bring my own popcorn to a movie theater, Jeremy.
I don't eat popcorn.
The only thing you can bring to a movie is like, I guess you could bring like granola bars or candy or something like that.
You could bring a double cheeseburger.
I do not carry double cheeseburgers with me to the movie theater.
Yeah.
I eat what's at the theater.
Man.
I'll sneak some candy or something in there or alcohol. If it doesn't have alcohol there, but no, I do not sneak my own popcorn. Wait a minute,
you can't bring a double cheeseburger. You can bring fucking alcohol. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You could bring you eat floor pizza, as the chat says. Clearly,
No, but what I'm saying, like, I'm not opposed to like the entire idea of bringing a double cheeseburger. My thing is, if there's stuff available there, I'm not going to sneak it in. I'm probably going to buy it there, whether it's
yeah,
popcorn or pizza or burgers or nachos or pretzels. But for some places, if I want to drink while I'm at the theater and they don't have a bar there, then I might sneak alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, I don't eat popcorn. I don't care for popcorn. Typically, if I do eat it at the movies, sometimes I'll get the flatbread pizza or their nachos. Sometimes if they offer that. If not, then I usually just get candy and a drink. That's kind of it.
Popcorn at all?
I mean, I don't hate popcorn. I just don't care for it. It's kind of meh. I mean, I'll have a few bites if someone has like a giant tub and it's with me. And they're like, "Hey, you want a little bit of popcorn?" I'm like, I'll grab a little bit, but
I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and like make popcorn at home at all. But at a theater, I feel like to me that's like part of the experience is a massive tub of just buttery, salty ass popcorn that I'm pretty much 3/4 of the way through, like before the previews are over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just
I think that's a massive drink.
Look, the marketing has told you you're supposed to have popcorn in movies. It's working. I don't fall for marketing. So,
well, it's not marketing.
It is.
Retard.
When else you eat
it's
popcorn?
From my child. It's from my child. Like that's what I remember.
When do you eat
mean?
popcorn outside of going to the fucking movies?
Other than like randomly at a sports game or something like that, if it's there and looks good.
Right. The movies tell you to eat popcorn and you go and eat the popcorn because the marketing worked on you. Other than that, you never eat fucking popcorn.
No, it's not the marketing that has anything to do with it. It's the fact that that's what I remember from my childhood is like eating popcorn at the theater. So whenever I go, that's kind of the feeling that I want back.
I've never seen Jeremy eat anything healthy in the Dude Slims and Arrow. What's your secret? High metabolism, I guess. I don't know. I don't think am I slim as an arrow? I'm like 195, 200, 6'1". So that's look, man, I just eat what I want to eat, and I don't really give a shit. And I have high metabolism, I guess. I'm active, and I'm not a fucking social justice weirdo who just sits on Twitter all day and complain about other people. I'm not sure, but either way, Ryan doesn't particularly eat healthy either. All right, and he's shit. Yeah, so we both kind of have terrible diets, and we still aren't obese slobs. But either way, let's get into some topics. I'm not 6'4", Andrew Riker. I might be 6'1" on a good day, maybe.
Real quick, CG Hero for $20 over on Rumble. Wanted to make sure we got to this before we got in there. Ken Ball Z, Ken Piece, Attack on Ken, Ken Note, Pokey Ken, Ken Boy Bebop, Ken's Bizarre Adventure, One Punch Ken, Ken Family, Kenad, Chainsaw Ken, Kenland Saga, Initial Ken, Kenasuba, and Redo of Ken. Those are all the anime Ken memes you can think of. There we go. All right, we might as well talk about the fucking biggest two movies that are out there right now that are dominating the box office, and that is Barbie and Oppenheimer. We were right here all last week for all these G&G dailies where there were some people that were predicting, oh, it's going to have a massive drop off. It's going to crater in its second weekend. And I think we said, no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I specifically said, I think it's going to have a good hold. Maybe not Mario hold, but a really good hold. And here we are, a 44% drop, both for Barbie and Oppenheimer. Barbie hits over $775 million globally. Today will pass $800 million. And Oppenheimer is sitting there at $400 million for a 3-hour-long R-rated biopic about Robert Oppenheimer. It's pretty insane. These two very different movies that are meant for very different audiences have both been massively successful over the past 2 weeks. And something that shouldn't be overlooked is that Disney had yet another box office bomb in its opening weekend on this weekend. Haunted Mansion made about the same, almost exactly the same as Haunted Mansion did back in 2003 in its opening weekend, all while Barbie and Oppenheimer dominated. And this is in large part due to the marketing, in large part due to the meme that the internet created about it. Both of these movies, it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
No, they're not. I mean, my so I had speculated that could Oppenheimer, get around 700 or 800 million. We had both talked about it, and then after I saw the movie, I was like, yeah, it's not going to hit that. And it's not because I didn't love it, because I loved it. I loved Oppenheimer. I thought it was fantastic. I just looked at it thinking normies are not going to connect to this movie at all. There's just no way. I was clearly wrong. So I dialed it back from my original hopes that it could do, between 700 and 800, and said, I think 500 million's the max for this movie. That's after watching it. So that was my prediction. Forget what I speculated upon. People are going to this movie. They're loving this movie. I'm shocked. I'm not shocked that people love it generally, but I'm shocked that it's gone beyond the hardcore Nolan fan base now, and now it's reaching people that aren't just Nolan fans, and they're loving it. It's got a 93% audience rating right now. Obviously, Barbie is a different animal. That's a massive, brand, an iconic brand. I thought the marketing for Barbie was phenomenal. And clearly people are watching it and they're talking about it, and people are going back and seeing it. I know there's a lot of discussion around it, but at the end of the day, it's shattering records right now, and it's on pace to probably become the highest grossing film of the year. It will be interesting that third week. It will be interesting to see if there's a big drop for it or not. It's hard to tell, but it's on pace to definitely be number two. I mean, there's a pretty big gap between number one and number two. Super Mario Brothers at 1.3 billion, and number two is what, Guardians.
It's going to pass Guardians in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Undoubtedly, very easily. This movie will be next Monday when we do the show, Jeremy. Barbie will be at $1 billion. The question is, how far does it go? Now it needs a really good international box office to have that kind of success that Mario did. It looks like Japan, there might be a little bit of an issue though. We talked about this before the stream. They may have stepped into it a little bit when it comes to Japan. We know Oppenheimer probably that would have been the close of a trilogy, basically, if Oppenheimer had released in Japan. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and that's pretty expected that Oppenheimer will not play in Japan. However, Barbie getting in on Oppenheimer memes looks to have pissed off some people in Japan, and they might be in a little bit of trouble, whether it gets released or not, or whether people try to boycott this thing or not. Barbie might have got in trouble in Japan after the official Barbie US social media account reacted to and interacted with a Barbenheimer content on Twitter. Outrage took over social media in Japan, where many locals are calling for a boycott. A community note has been added over this meme, right? So Discussing Film posts this. I wish I could have seen that, but Discussing Film has to be blocked because they're a bunch of fucking pussies.
Yes. If whoever runs Discussing Film are pathetic pork wallet twat waffles. They're pathetic. They block so many of us because they're little bitch boys, but that's beside the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, and all that happens is Barbie responds to a Barbenheimer meme. It's going to be a summer to remember. And that was enough to get it community noted. Readers added context. At 8:15 on August 6th, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, blah, 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 blah. And apparently they had to release they had to do a press release, say, hey, this is just something that's going on in the West right now. It's a meme. We're not endorsing what happened, in World War II. It was just a comment on social media. So it's not set for release until sometime in August. So who knows if that's any problems. Obviously, at the end of the day, that's going to have very marginal impact on Barbie's overall box office. It's, like I said, it's going to be $1 billion by this time next week. Who knows how high it'll get. Mario had an incredible hold for 4 weeks. It was a 36% drop, 35% drop, a sub 40% drop for nearly a month. Like I said, I don't think Barbie's going to have quite that same impact, but its weekly numbers are way better than Mario's were. So who knows?
Well, I'm curious about something really quick, and I don't know if this did Pearl Harbor open in Japan? Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor, did it play in Japan? I'm curious about that. You want to be super sensitive about a fucking movie, and did Pearl Harbor, now even though Pearl Harbor was a terrible movie, and it really wasn't even about Ben Affleck, and who else was in that? Was it Matt Damon?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba's about the only good person in that movie. But did Pearl Harbor play in? Did it open up at the box office in Japan? And I think it probably did. I think it probably did, but I don't know the answer to that question. That would be kind of interesting. You have no problem playing Pearl Harbor, where you attacked the United States of America, but suddenly you want to get butthurt with Oppenheimer. A lot of people they think it did.
So yeah, Japan gets a look at Pearl Harbor.
Wait, Josh Hartnett was in Pearl Harbor and Oppenheimer. Holy shit, that's wild.
Japan will see a different version of Pearl Harbor.
Josh Hartnett was in both of these movies. Holy shit, Josh Hartnett, Chad energy right there. Alec Baldwin was in Pearl Harbor too.
Bro, this is I gotta look at this article. This is from 2001.
Oh shit.
What an interesting world. Japan will see a different version of Pearl Harbor. May 23rd, 2001, when Disney unveils its World War II epic Pearl Harbor in Japan and Germany, foreign audiences will hear a slightly different version than American audiences. Instead of American soldiers promising, quote, a few less dirty Japs, Tokyo audiences will hear a few less Japs.
Oh, God.
This is a Disney movie, too. Holy shit.
Oh, man. That's great.
So, yeah, it did debut. It did debut.
So, Pearl Harbor is okay to play in Japan, but obviously an Oppenheimer meme, that's too far. Okay, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of sensitive bullshit, dude.
I guess the argument you could make is when you're looking at acts of war and attacking military targets versus like very specific kind of civilian heavy targets. But yeah, it's obviously it's something that actually happened fucking 80 years ago or whatever. I think that there's probably a little too much sensitivity towards, like, if you don't want to release the movie itself, whatever, I kind of get it. But the fact that Barbie might get in trouble simply for interacting with an Oppenheimer meme is wild.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, Oppenheimer it's not about the bomb.
No,
it's about Oppenheimer. It's about him as a person.
And he actually holds he has a lot of anguish, mental anguish,
yes,
because of what his invention did.
Yes.
And like the people that died because of it. So
it doesn't necessarily paint the United States in a positive light, and it doesn't paint it in a negative light as much as it's just telling you the story. You know what I mean? But it does emphasize that in the movie, it's said multiple times that this bomb can end the war and bring our boys home, you know, and it will be a net positive overall. But yeah, so anyway, it's dumb. It's dumb, but it is what it is. But I enjoyed the fuck out of it, and most people are too, and it's crushing it at the box office, as is Barbie, and that's what it comes down to. I like when people have options. As long as people have options, they can go see what they want to see and support what they want to support, and they do. They have plenty of options right now. People have options, and they're choosing to go see Barbie. They're choosing to see Oppenheimer, and they are continuing to reject Disney. And from what I understand, Haunted Mansion isn't even that bad. It's just that Disney's brand is so broken that people have just we used to be in a time where if it was a Disney movie, people would react to go see it blindly. Now they're blindly rejecting it. They don't even care to see what it's about. They're just like, no, we reject this movie on the premise that it's a Disney movie. That is something Disney has earned through what they have done with the MCU, with Star Wars, with their theme parks, with a lot of their coverage, or a lot of the coverage we've seen from their executives, with the agenda-driven stuff, them getting involved in government stuff, their fight with Ron DeSantis. They have earned this. All the backlash, they have earned this through their own actions.
Yeah, like the Barbie movie's second weekend is like the 7th biggest opening weekend of all time. Or sorry, second weekend of all time of any movie ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're talking about pretty wild shit. And if these numbers hold, I haven't seen if these are actually, if they've updated anything or if it is exactly at 93 million. But if that holds right there, that's higher than Super Mario's second weekend. That's higher than Top Gun Maverick's second weekend. So Who
I
knows what
thought,
the hell's going to happen?
wait, it's higher than Mario's second weekend? What was Mario's second weekend?
92.3
Okay,
million.
so because I knew it was right there, it was close. So okay.
Now Mario had about a 36% drop as opposed to a 43% drop. But yeah, I mean, both incredible when you're looking at the scope of that. But yeah, so obviously Force Awakens set fucking records. Endgame, Infinity War, Black Panther, Jurassic World, The Avengers, and Barbie are your biggest second weekends of all time. That's insane.
That is insane. I did find a clip. I got to show you, Ryan. Read a few super chats. I got to find this clip. You're gonna love this clip that I have for you. Okay.
Cole Hauser for $10. What's up, Jeremy and Ryan? Always look forward to watching you guys to start my day. You guys rock. Jeremy, you need to do a watch party and get Ryan into the original G.I. Joe cartoon. 199. Yeah. Yo, Joe. Peace.
Hell yeah. All right, keep going. I'm looking for this clip.
Scott McKenzie, member for a year. Good morning, Jeremy and Ryan. Stay the course. Hail the chat 199. Anything y'all are currently rewatching, recommend, and what are you looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Dune 2 being in IMAX for like 5 to 6 weeks, keeping the Marvels out, which is funny. That's probably the next thing I'm most looking forward to in terms of movies.
All right, I got a clip from your favorite YouTuber, Ryan.
All right.
Now, Barbie, #1 movie in the world, dominating. But do you know who needs to do more to help Barbie, Ryan?
Men?
Christopher Nolan needs to do more.
Is this Grace Randolph?
This is Grace Randolph. So Barbie needs help from Christopher Nolan, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Nolan has to step up and help Barbie.
Script. It's amazing. But Christopher Nolan has yet to acknowledge Barbie in a meaningful way. He doesn't have social media, to be fair, but surely he also could tweet out a pic. Nolan did say in an interview that he was going to see Barbie, even though he didn't participate in the ticket challenge with Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie that was started by Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie. Nolan, you're already fighting with Warner Brothers Discovery. You can't fight with everybody, and you're making a lot of money too. I think to keep this momentum going, I would strongly advise Christopher Nolan to get together with Greta Gerwig and take some kind of picture. I don't care if it's at the movie theater. I don't care if they're having lunch. I don't care if they're comparing notes. But it would just, I think they need to keep this going. It's beneficial to both of them. And also Nolan would get points for supporting a female filmmaker. You know, it's like,
Jesus Christ.
So
hey, Nolan, it's your responsibility to help Barbie, even though
it's so dumb. You don't have social media, right? Like, what a stupid fucking thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of this interview. Do you know have you ever heard the Rich Eisen Christopher Nolan interview? Where he talks about one of his favorite movies.
I don't even like, as much as I love Nolan, I don't really like watch his interviews or anything.
All right. The audio's a touch low on it, I think, but it's worth it. It's about a minute clip, but it's pretty funny.
Remote drop movie, Christopher, wherever you're watching television.
When was this done?
A
long time ago.
Okay. Or you just
what's your remote drop movie?
Even if it's not yours, obviously. Which
Right.
one is it? Just a fan film?
I hadn't heard the remote drop as a phrase. That's a fantastic one.
There you go.
Yeah, I love it. And there are so many. I mean, I flick around, and if there's an old movie playing, I mean, God, anything by Kubrick, it's a remote drop. But some of the great comedies too, and I mean, Talladega Nights. I'm never going to be able to switch that off.
Listen.
Okay, now then. Really? What? The Ballad of Ricky Bobby is a Christopher Nolan mic drop movie. Is that what you're saying?
If you ain't first, you're last.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Holy shit.
It's like one of my favorite Chris Nolan moments, to be honest with you.
So unexpected.
I know. Like, if you ain't first, the way he puts that at the end is just perfect. Talladega Nights, a remote drop movie for Christopher Nolan.
Holy shit, that's fantastic. I was not expecting that at all. I was not expecting.
Nobody was, clearly. I'll play that phrase again.
Ricky Bobby is a Christopher Nolan mic drop movie. Is that what you're saying?
If you ain't first, you're last.
Oh,
that's fantastic. Holy shit.
Hey, maybe Chris Nolan might like it. Who knows? Some unexpected ones out there.
Oh man, good shit. Good shit. That's the GOAT. Man, we got some 50s dropping. Look at there. We got Stephen Wasick with the 20. Thank you guys so much. Last day to grift. Last day of the month to grift. So grift hard, baby.
That's true. Exalted Patriarch for 50. Jaime Reyes is DC's Miles Morales. Ted Kord is the Blue Beetle from my childhood, who is also good friends with Booster Gold. Maybe Gunn will allude to Booster at the end of the movie. DC will wreck that character too. Hail the 199. Yeah, so that is true. Obviously, Ted Kord was the original Blue Beetle. Jaime Reyes was, I don't know, invented, I feel like in the early 2000s or something, if I'm remember right. I'm not quite exactly sure. I don't mind Jaime Reyes as a character. I don't mind his version of Blue Beetle. And I was even willing to give this movie a chance until their director was an absolute gamer word. Then that all went down the hill. So I can't wait for that to flop. Tomac for 50. I'm waiting for Japan to have Oppenheimer and Godzilla -1 in a double bill. Yeah, there's some like specific Japanese, like just a Japanese version of Godzilla coming out or something. But yeah, might as well. Might as well. Stephen Wasick for 20. As much as I like anime, the Japanese are in the wrong here. Well, I think that's okay to have that viewpoint. Argue the ethics all you want. Hirohito started it, and Truman and Oppenheimer finished it. The point, America don't fuck around. We should still be this way today. Thank you, Stephen Wasick. E1337 Neo for 20. Jeremy, my brother Pensacolian. You might appreciate this. Friends and I used to sneak Strombolis from Sparrow in the University Mall food court into United Artists Cinema whenever catching flicks back in the day. Good times.
Yeah, I miss University Mall. Yeah, that's old school right there. Because we used to have 2 malls in Pensacola, and now University Mall's basically been destroyed. They left the anchor stores there, like your Dillard's and JCPenney. I guess Sears was there for a while. They tore that down. Sad, but yes.
Is Sears still in business?
I don't know. I mean, there was a Sears in Pensacola as of several, like at least a few years ago, and then they tore that one down. I don't know if there's any more Sears around the country. I have no idea.
The business entered bankruptcy in 2018. Since then, only this is from 2022, but all but 22 Sears locations in 14 states have been shuttered. There might be one in Orlando.
Sad. It's sad.
I mean, as soon as they, let the lease on the Sears Tower expire, you kind of knew it was all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Still, nobody calls it the Willis Tower, whatever the fuck. Everybody calls it the Sears Tower, which is what I think Twitter is going to still happen. I think that's going to be what happens at Twitter. I can't I've got a video I might have released on Sports Wars already where Stephen A. Smith deleted a tweet. What am I going to say? Stephen A. Smith deletes his ex? That sounds fucked up. I'm going to say Stephen A. Smith deleted his tweet. I don't think.
I'm probably always going to call Twitter. I don't see myself calling it X. I don't have a problem with the branding. It's just that I just can't really see myself referring to it. Twitter's just part of our vocabulary. It just is. Tweets. It's part of our vocabulary.
Yeah.
And it's like anything else. It took me a long time as a wrestling fan to even start calling WWF WWE. And I still sometimes don't. I still call it WWF just because I think I've gotten better about the WWE, but that's a lot closer in name. So it's just one letter, but it still flows differently. X is weird. I don't see how that's going to last. Like, I don't see how it's going to become part of people's vocabulary, everyday vocabulary. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Essen for $10. Hey, Japan, remember December 7th, 1941? How about Unit 731? LOL. LMAO even. Thank you. Sonny Kim, member for 2 months. Have you seen Castlevania Nocturne trailer? I'm not an expert on the lore, but it looks good.
I've heard people talking about it. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen. I wanted to see I've wanted to see those Castlevania series on Netflix, but I haven't really gotten into them.
Teeny Bopper.
I heard Twisted Metal TV show is good.
I don't believe it. I've heard that too, but I don't believe it.
I've heard it's good. That's crazy to me.
I haven't heard it from anyone I trust.
So,
Teeny Bopper, member for 2 months. Disney blaming heat on bad park attendance when tourists were going into Death Valley during record heat waves is funny. People do what they want. Like, spoiler alert, it's always been hot in Florida, in the summer. I have no fuck. I don't really want to go walk around Universal or Disney when it's 100 degrees, 100% humidity, to be honest with you. But a lot of people do. So The Clear Site for one, another week, another buck. Hi, all. Fireburn is late and gay. Shout out to Fat Steven Seagal. Fuck Barbie. 199 onions. I don't know how to say that. Onions. You get that only on G&G Daily. Jeremy brings DD cheeseburgers into the theater.
I mean, I have brought double cheeseburgers into the theater before, for sure.
Faux Peasy for one. We're living the prequel to Idiocracy. Yeah.
That's what I keep hearing. And yeah, a lot of people in the chat are saying that Twisted Metal is good. A lot of people in the chat mirrored that. So that's pretty interesting.
I don't know. I don't want to.
Hey, my cum smell says Twisted Metal is good. You can trust me. I mean, that's a very trustworthy source right there. It's a very trustworthy source. I mean, look at his name. Of course you can trust that.
I don't think I have. Is it on Peacock or?
Is it Apple or Peacock? I'm not even sure.
It's not Apple.
It's not Apple. Okay.
It's not Apple. Jeff K, member for a year. 100% Idiocracy is better now. It's almost a prophecy. Extreme Oompa, member for 2 months. Hail 199. Thank you. Bryn Black for 5. In War Worlds Animated, there's a line for no reason that basically implies Gal Gadot is staying in DC if all is connected. In War Worlds Animated. So in a DC animated movie, there's a line that implies that Gal Gadot is somehow
I need more details on that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I need to understand that. It's on Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Especially because, like, whatever plans for that animated movie would have been done, months and months and months before it came out. I don't know. I'll take a look at that, I guess. Bashy Washy, member for a year. Jeremy, Barbie is banned here in the Middle East. FYI, 199 bundle of sticks.
Is it banned completely in the Middle East?
I mean, it's probably not completely, but there's probably a lot of countries. Let's see where it's releasing. We get Barbie's international releases.
Hi, Ryan. Any news from Kevin Spacey after a verdict?
I mean, I saw that he got found innocent, that he got found not guilty, but I have no idea.
Man, at this point,
let's get a petition to remake the last season of House of Cards.
Yes, like he's killed enough of his witnesses have turned up dead. At least let's make it worthwhile and get some good entertainment out of it, for crying out loud. Remake season 6 of House of Cards. All right, don't let those witnesses die without meaning. At least get the proper ending for House of Cards and get rid of that feminist propaganda bullshit. Season 6.
Yeah, it's so funny, because so often we say, hey, let them have their day in court, right? And then Kevin Spacey's day in court happens. He gets found not guilty. People are like, he fucking did it. Well, I mean, I think he did too, but it just shows that your public perception of someone is at the end of the day, the only thing that fucking matters. It doesn't matter if they're found innocent or guilty or whatever. The public perception that people have at the end of the day is how people will feel about that person regardless.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin Spacey's a good person. The fact is he has been found innocent in a court of law, and that's all you can ask for. I don't trust the man. I don't like the man. I think he's a phenomenal actor, but I also wonder if his acting is the version of Kevin Spacey that we saw after the court verdict, because it feels like he's closer to Frank Underwood in real life. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. TJ gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, TJ. We appreciate that. Wolf from Heart for 199. What's up? You on time, racist? We were on time today. Thundarius for 5. Hail to 199. After a long week at Mayo, we kicked cancer's ass off my spine, and we're checking out today if all goes well. Keep bringing the heat. Fuck yeah. Man, that's a short stay.
Hell yeah.
That's a short stay, but that's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. Retribution 0, member for a month. What's your guilty pleasure movie? I don't know.
I don't really have.
I don't feel guilty about anything.
I mean, I guess at this point in time, retroactively, you can say Kevin Smith movies since he's such a bitch now. I mean, I've always loved Kevin Smith movies. Now it feels like they're because he is a bitch. But I do love his movies. I've always liked there's a lot of rom-coms back in the day. Like all the Matthew McConaughey ones were really good, like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Failure to Launch and all that shit. Those were good.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't really feel guilty about any movies, I guess. Not sure. Jay's Tiggle Biddies for 199. Ken Pop was a bad dude. Thank you. Nolan Ith Pretentith for $2 says, is Snyder or Nolan better?
Nolan.
There you go. Pilgrim Media for 2. How do you know they haven't touched their taint? Who?
Yeah, who?
Coraheen or Coragine for 14. Kenks and Kenners. Thank you. Chris Coran for 2. Haunted Mansion should have released in the fall. Yeah, why would you release Haunted Mansion like in October?
I know. That would have made so much more sense. I mean, personally, like if you had like there is a look for me. You know, obviously I've been a huge Disney parks fan for a long time. I haven't really cared about the parks in the last 3 years, probably. Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite rides at Disney. I love it. I didn't like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie, but if this isn't woke and it sounds like it's not woke, this just sounds like something I would be interested in. But yeah, it's terrible release timing, and Disney overall just hurt their brand so much. But in a not a perfect world, but just in a normal world, I would be interested to see this movie in a normal world.
Yeah. Oh, I thought of something for guilty pleasure. So somebody made me watch Pretty Little Liars, which is like just this stupid fucking woman show. And I like hated the fact that I was sitting there watching it, but at the same time, I got super invested in like figuring out what was going on. So
I don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah, that might be, if you're gonna like ask me a guilty pleasure or something, that might be it, because I do feel really bad that I got really invested in what happens with those characters in the story. Tommy Reviews for $2. Ryan, would you eat an MRE in a theater? If you paid me. I don't want to eat any MREs, but maybe. Thunderstrike for 5. Hey Ryan, try and get Jeremy to say Wabash correctly. It's a small town in northern Indiana. I lived there for a few years. Wabash. Can you say that?
Wabash.
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody said I can't find their comment to highlight. Jimstone24 says, are you guys purposely not reading my supers? Jimstone24.
I haven't seen a single super chat from Jimstone24. So
I haven't either.
If you send some, maybe we'll read them.
Yeah, we will always read your super chats. But if we
haven't sent any, so
yeah, we haven't gotten one from you.
You did get your name read though.
Yeah, you did. I can't find the comment to highlight. That's so weird.
Wesley for $2 on Rumble. OJ had his day in court too. That's true. Hey, Twitter world. He's X world.
Hey, X world.
All right, where the fuck did I go? Mike Hill for $10. Elon could cause confusion by renaming Twitter to X with a horror movie with the same name. And then Ryan for 20. Is Grace Randolph's crazy eyes and freaky voice shtick, or is that really her? I can only tolerate 10 seconds of listening to her before wanting to punch my monitor. Jeremy, that's Jeremy's guilty pleasure, is watching Grace Randolph videos.
I've watched Grace Randolph for a long time because I do think that she gives interesting insight into but I was specifically interested to hear how she approached Sound of Freedom in her box office breakdown. And you know how quickly she moved past Sound of Freedom? Sound of Freedom had the lowest drop in the top 10 of any movie, and she didn't even acknowledge that fact. She didn't even acknowledge it. She simply just mentioned it and moved past it so quickly. It's almost like she had to just, it's almost like the floor is lava. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. It was pathetic. And I like watching how a lot of these people like, hey, Chris Stuckman, thanks for your Toy Story review that you just uploaded. Toy Story. He just uploaded a review for the first Toy Story, but he don't want to talk about Sound of Freedom. Thanks for that one, Chris Stuckman. John Campia doesn't want to talk about Sound of Freedom. Grace Randolph doesn't want to talk about Sound of Freedom. Pretty interesting.
Did you see
Pretty
Jeff Snyder? I will find Jeff Snyder because he actually went and saw it and he had something to say about it afterwards. I think I liked his tweet. Here, I'll read a couple of super chats. I'll see if I can find what he said.
Okay. God damn it! Of course, stupid notifications are. Sports Wars live stream got claimed by UFC.
Yeah, it did.
It typically always happens. My cum smell says Sweet Tooth is the real star of the show. Is that true? I mean, I really do want to see this if it's good. I love Twisted Metal. I don't know how Twisted Metal's online is these days, but I would love to play Twisted Metal if we could do some kind of multiplayer. Twisted Metal was a fantastic game back in the day. And then we've got Ricky Bobby perfectly encapsulates the Bush era. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I am Warwolf, says Jeremy, as an Alabama native. Opinion on Jax. Hang on, let me see this real quick. Okay, what do we got?
All right, so this is Jeff Snyder, right? Who comes out with a lot of insider stuff on Hollywood. He says, "Hear that sound? That's the sound of freedom, baby. Just scored some free tickets to a show tonight. We'll report back after. I liked Sound of Freedom overall. It was a little generic. Jim Caviezel's range is limited, but I thought it was very effective and shot very well. Bill Camp was good, as were the main kids. Not sure why everyone's making such a fuss over this one." And then you can you start to see people, because it's QAnon funded propaganda. It's probably funding Michael Flynn's domestic terrorism, right? He's like, don't know who that is. Don't care who pays for movies. Some of your favorite movies were paid for by absolute scumbags. They didn't get any of my money. It was free. And the theater was packed. And so he responds to a couple of people, and later on he sends this. Imagine drawing a conclusion about someone based on the films they watch, the music they listen to, the books they read. Ever heard of the West Memphis 3? The true Sound of Freedom is all the snowflakes in my mentions complaining about the success of a movie they haven't seen.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting coming from
yes,
him.
That's very interesting coming from him. That's actually respectful. Respectful that he went out there, saw it, and then defended at least
gave a fair take about it.
Yeah, fair take about it. So that's pretty cool right there. So I respect the hell out of that. As far as Jax, what do you mean? Is Jax like food? I guess that's what you're referring to. I mean, there's Jack's Pizza as well, like frozen pizza. So I'm not sure specifically what you mean. In terms of like the fast food place, I've never had Jack's. Jack's Pizza is okay, but that's not a Alabama thing. That's a national chain, I think.
Yeah. Maybe there's like something specific in Alabama.
The restaurant, yeah, okay. The restaurant, yeah. I've never been to Jack's the restaurant. Shockingly enough, I was born in. Unfortunately, I was actually born right over the Alabama border in Georgia, which makes me sick. But I was living in Phoenix City, Alabama at the time. So Phoenix City and Columbus are like right there. Like you drive. It's like a 5-minute drive from Phoenix City, Alabama to Columbus, Georgia, and that's where the border crosses.
So you lived in Alabama, you were born in Georgia because the hospital was there, or what?
Well, so my mother was with her mother who lived across the state line, crossing state lines.
Yeah.
So that's when, so I was born in Georgia, which makes me sick to my stomach.
Well,
but
luckily, you held your breath until you got back to Alabama.
100% did.
Explains the brain damage, but at least
made me the person I am today. But yeah, so lived in Dothan, Alabama, Enterprise, Alabama, Albertville, Alabama, Huntsville, all in that area. But I've never had Jack's to my knowledge.
Gemstone for 5. Haunted Mansion scared my kids. Also, they named the villain Grump, a rich old white man who treated everyone around him like shit and had multiple wives. Sounds based. Katrina VR for 199. If you ain't first, you're Ken. Thank you. The Shockmaster for another $5. I did not fall in my debut. Someone stuck a sandbag right before the wall that I tripped over.
Also, TJ dropped 10 gifted memberships. Let's go. Thank you, TJ. 10 gifted memberships.
Blake Barrett for 2. Does Kamala know how many letters are in X?
She doesn't need to. She knows how many letters are in AI. And she knew it stood for artificial intelligence. I think she was just flexing at that point. She was like, I'm going to flex a little more knowledge. It's really
Russia's a
impressive.
big country. Jimmy touchdown for 5. Twisted Metal is good. Loki season 2 trailer just dropped. Barbie's beta male propaganda. John Con Campia has fully faded into irrelevancy. I don't know what John's up to. The only time I hear about John is when people tell me here. Corey Heen for 35. Heard that Witcher Netflix may get canceled. You know what? We should address that because there's an article going around that I think there's a little bit more nuance to than most people are.
Some point in time, you're going to get one. You're going to get one of the free memberships. Just stay the course. The 199 will always have your back for that. So it'll happen. It'll happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we might as well talk about this. The Witcher season 3 is finally over, dropping in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. A massive disappointment to audience, to all the fans out there who are literally only sticking around for Henry Cavill, to be honest with you. And this season is probably the worst that they've seen. And now Henry Cavill's gone, replaced with Liam Hemsworth. But they're not set to start filming until September, or should I say weren't set to start filming. But now that has been put on hold indefinitely. And you have a lot of people making the prediction that what this could mean is that they're just going to call it quits on the entire Witcher franchise. The Witcher's put on hold indefinitely. Season 3 could be the finale. Now, in reality, they're obviously not going to start filming while the actors' strike is ongoing and all of this stuff is happening. So they've started filming back to 2024. But with that delay and with the miserable reception that people have had to this last season, there's a lot of people that are speculating Netflix could just cut the cord in general. I should clarify, this article does not mean that The Witcher has been canceled. You know, it's just somebody putting out their opinion that that's what they think could happen eventually. I don't see any reason to continue on with it, to be quite honest with you, because quite frankly, there is nobody that wants to see season 4 of this with Liam Hemsworth. They were sticking around for Henry Cavill, and that's the only reason they're invested.
Yeah, I've had no interest in The Witcher whatsoever. I think I watched a little bit of the first season, and when I saw some of those viral videos with Henry Cavill going around, and I've had no interest in it whatsoever. The Witcher's been a complete and total failure, and it's sad because it could have been something special. It could have been something based off the games that had an enormous fan base, dedicated fan base, and now here they are. This has been a colossal failure on every single level, and you get what you deserve, and fans have rejected it across the board. It didn't matter how much you tried to spin it, twist it, manipulate. It didn't matter. People were checked out from pretty much after the season 1. I thought there was some decent feedback for the show overall, but it from what I understand, it was a lot of fool's gold. Correct, Ryan?
Well, I think season 1 people liked it, but they wanted more Henry Cavill, and they were hoping that that season 2 they get more of what they liked about the show. Season 2, people they realized that they got the opposite of that, and then season 3 was just completely shit. But if you look, there's some people that are trying to be like, well, look, it's number 2 in the Nielsen ratings. Yeah, with basically no real competition, it is number 2 in the Nielsen ratings. Couldn't even be the top thing on Netflix because Suits dominated it. But with 1.3 billion minutes watched in its debut week, unfortunately, when you compare that to season 2, you get the real story. Season 2's debut, 2.2 billion minutes watched for that same period of time. And that's with fewer episodes of The Witcher out overall. So you have a drastic drop-off for season 3 when you're talking about the people that tuned in for this. That is a nightmare for them, for what they expected to be their Game of Thrones, basically. That's what they wanted it to be, and it has turned out to be the opposite of that.
Yeah, you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve. And yeah, so as we were reading that, we had a couple of bombs dropping. We had TJ with 10 more gifted memberships, and the chat is sitting there telling TJ, thank you for the gifted memberships. And then Alec Baldwin's finger came in with 50. We've got some people still missing, but that's okay. Alec Baldwin's finger always comes through.
Damn.
So, and then this is the original person that I highlighted. They still didn't get theirs. But yeah, you said you still missed. You didn't miss, though. You've got one. You've got one. That's right. Look, you've got it. Yeah, you've got the.
Didn't notice it.
You didn't notice it yet, but there we go, right there. 199 stepping up as always. Thank you guys. Alec Baldwin's finger. We know you don't miss, but I know you're saving up for a truck. So make sure you get that truck first, buddy. Okay.
Damn.
Make sure you get
There
that
you
truck
go.
first.
We should talk about another streaming show that was a massive disappointment. With the failure of Secret Invasion, it's reminded people of how bad all these Disney Plus series have really been. And of course, if you're thinking about bad MCU Disney Plus series, you can't help but mention She-Hulk, because it was one of the most cringe things we saw last year. And now, amid the actors and writers strike, the She-Hulk star Tatiana Maslany is maybe ejecting any and all hope for a possible season 2, because she has some words for Disney CEO Bob Iger. I love all this actors and writer strike stuff because it is absolutely woke on woke crime. She-Hulk star blasts Disney CEO. He's completely out of touch. She-Hulk star puts fire to Disney CEO's feet. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter from picket lines in New York, She-Hulk attorney-at-law star Tatiana Maslany put Disney CEO Bob Iger on blast. Quote, I have friends who have been doing this for 30 to 40 years and have lost their health care because the minimums are so relatively low, but wages have gone down and people's quotes no longer stand for anything. It's just like we've been completely cast aside. I think Bob Iger is completely out of touch. He's completely out of touch with the workers who make his shows happen, who make people watch these shows, who bring viewers to him and make him money. Guess what? These Disney Plus MCU series are not making money for anybody. Disney Plus is losing billions of dollars. For the 2 quarters that She-Hulk aired over, because it overlapped a little bit, Disney Plus lost $2.1 billion. So where exactly are they making this money? Why do these people deserve to get paid so much more money when nobody's watching their garbage? Everybody is out of touch in this situation.
Yes, everybody. This is so funny. Look, I thought, Ryan, do you remember a time when if you criticized Disney or their CEO, it was toxic and you were a horrible person and you were just making up stuff? Do you remember that? Do you remember that's what you were accused of?
I do.
And now the star of She-Hulk is now saying bad things about Disney CEO. Well, which is it now? Which is it? I mean, it's amazing how the goalposts just continue to move. I thought Gary, our boy from Nerdrotic, did you see his tweet about this? Because that was funny as hell. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Gary had the best take right here. Yeah, here it is right here. Let me share my screen. Shout out to Nerdrotic. He says it right here. Honey, there wasn't any wealth coming from She-Hulk unless you were a YouTuber.
That's very true.
That is so true right there. That is so damn true. But back to Ryan's article he's got pulled up.
Yeah, and she's not the first person that worked on this show to say this. We had the writer come out and complain that his residual check was only $396. By the way, this is the fucking dude in question. If you have writers,
shit.
when you have writers that look like this, it's no surprise that you're completely out of touch with the masses. Look at this fucking freak, Cody Ziegler. She-Hulk writer slams Disney CEO over residual salary of only $396. That's $400 too much, because this wasn't a success. Disney Plus is losing money. Like, there's a lot of blame to go around in Hollywood, from the studios, executives, to the writers, to the actors, everybody involved, right? But if something is losing $1 billion every quarter, why will you expect a massive residual check from that? You got paid up front to do the work, but it's not making money. So why would you expect anything, to be honest with you?
What is
it's
that
fucking
thing?
laughable.
What is that thing?
I don't.
You know, when I see things like that, this is my reaction. There, that's just, oh, it got worse. It got worse.
Yeah.
Holy.
You're telling me this dude ain't eating good during the strike? I don't believe that for a second.
It got worse. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's Cody Ziegler. Look, he can't afford hair dye. You can see his roots. He's a struggling writer. He can barely afford to feed himself. Okay? Like, but yeah, like it's these people, I don't think they're putting any hope in a season 2 of She-Hulk, that's for sure. But it's just funny to see Bob Iger get blasted by literally everybody, including by these people who are part of the massive problem in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it really is. And this, I don't know what's going to happen with this writer strike. I think this is going to be a problem for Hollywood for a while, and I'm completely okay with that. I mean, for me, I personally have been checked out on a lot of the Hollywood stuff. I do think that there's actually some decent stuff out there that I've been kind of paying attention to more so than a lot of the shit that I hate. Because I've been focusing on all the shit I hate for so long because you ruined it. You ruined Star Wars. I'm done. I can't even care about Star Wars anymore. I don't give a fuck about Star Wars. Yeah, Marvel, another one. Like, I just don't care. I just do not care at all. And now we've kind of point where, again, DC, I've talked about this many times. DC is bad for a different set of reasons than Marvel and Star Wars, and even Pixar is kind of out of it now. But Hollywood did this to themselves, and they deserve no respect whatsoever. These actors that are crying and whining, they've always been pathetic pieces of shit. They always will be. And Bob Iger getting eaten alive by the social justice propaganda that he has been obsessed with intertwining his company into, I have no sympathy for him. So just continue to let them eat each other alive. I really don't care. Burn the motherfucker to the ground for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. We will sit back and laugh and make fun of you freaks for what you are, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Brand X for 5. Tell Hollywood no more mid Snow Whites against smoke show evil queens. See Zegler versus Gal Gadot, or worse, Kristen Stewart versus Charlize Theron. Yeah, that was Snow White and the Huntsman back in the day.
Yep.
Chris Hemsworth.
We got Alec Baldwin's finger said already got the truck. So shout out. Glad to hear that. TJ says, thank you all, because everyone was thanking Alec Baldwin's finger and TJ for all the gifted memberships. And then Cole Hauser with the 199. Thank you, Cole Hauser.
BFSD 150 for 5. What's up, G Crew? I know you're not super familiar with him, but Tech 9 dropped a new album a few days ago. I'm loving it. He's so good. Hail G&G.
Yeah, I can't name a Tech 9 song. I've heard a lot of people praise Tech 9. But I listen to, old school, like East Coast, West Coast rap, Tupac, Biggie, Rakim, Too Short.
I don't listen to a lot of new music, period.
Yeah, I don't either.
Not like intentionally. It's not like a focused decision. I just feel like I used to get in the car and turn the radio on, and that's just not what I do anymore. I get in the car and I turn on YouTube or whatever,
Dude,
so.
this is years ago now at this point, but this shows you how detached from new music I have been. Okay. Krista had put a song on in my truck, and it was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. I had no idea what the song was. And I was like, this fucking song slaps. Oh my God.
You've never heard that, because that's everywhere.
I fucking loved it too. I'm like, I have never heard the song. She goes,
there
what?
Are things that transcend just because you start to hear them and everything, and it gets put out everywhere.
It just didn't register with me, and I heard it. I'm like, this is fucking fantastic, because it is. It's a phenomenal song. Everybody knows the song. But yeah, I looked it up, and it had like almost like 1 billion views. I'm like, Jesus, I am so checked out on current music. So checked out. But yeah, like Blinding Lights is such a good song.
What was I trying to? I was about to fucking look something up. Oh, somebody said something in chat that reminded me of a story. I'm gonna have a video coming out on Sports Wars about this a little bit later today. But have you heard about the Cincinnati Reds minor league team, Jeremy? I know that probably nobody here really cares about that sports wise, but I think some of the audience will think it's a little bit funny though. Just because of this marketing that they tried to use. So Cincinnati Reds have a minor league team called the Chattanooga Lookouts. And they're like, the little emblems are like eyes because they're looking out, whatever. They decided that they were going to have a new style shirt to put in their stores. And for some reason, people had a problem with it. I don't really know why, but this is the design for the t-shirt. Now, obviously, Chattanooga, right? Nooga, you got the eyes that are the O's. I don't see anything wrong with this shirt at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay. But some people had a big problem with it, and they ended up pulling it down from the stores. They didn't want it, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, if you're in the Chattanooga area and you happen to own one of these size large, I would love one. I would love one of these shirts if anybody has it. So, but that's like a thing, right? If somebody, I've never been to Chattanooga, so I don't know, but I assume that that's a way to refer to Chattanooga. That's like a common thing.
Oh man, that's so funny. That's fantastic. I want one of those shirts. I want one.
Great. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's funny.
I'm so ready for football. I'm ready for football season. I'm ready for football season to get here.
Borg for 5. The new Haunted Mansion movie reminds me of an old In Living Color skit called Richard Pryor is Scared for No Reason. Yeah, I'm not super interested in it. I've heard differing things on it, but TJ for 5. There's 10 more. There's 10 more to all you wonderful people in the 199, but I got overshadowed by Alec Baldwin Fingers 50. LOL. Hail the 199. Hey, thank you, TJ.
TJ, we appreciate you, buddy. It's all in this together. All in this together.
Stephen Wasik for 199. Make entertainment again. Yes. Borg for 2. New Futurama episode clowned on that pink hair guy. Just that dude specifically. That'd be crazy. Bert for $5. Literally spit my coffee out when I saw Trans Albert dropped in chat. The 199s are vicious. Thanks for ruining my soy latte with that one. Did you see the other day when Jake called Albert Einstein Eddie Einstein?
Yes. I was like,
Eddie, are you okay?
How many times did he say it before? Did you check him or did the chat check him?
Eddie. Cora Heen for 35. Search for Negan Mox Olivia. Hits pink hair hard. LOL. We might have to check it out. Thank you. Meat Bun for 2. Dude should have paid me $400 for secondhand cringe. Samurai Knight for 2. We need this as a GG shirt. Just add the logo in it. Add the Geeks and Gamers logo. That would be funny. Baby Chewbacca for 199. Jeremy's favorite Tupac album. Strictly for my nougas.
That was his second album.
MC Tasman member for 2 months. Jeremy, what's your opinion on Tom McDonald? Dude seems bass as fuck.
I haven't listened to a lot of Tom McDonald. I mean, I've heard a few of his songs, and they're fine. I don't
know anything about him.
Yeah,
personally, to be honest.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of his songs. When stuff is that specifically geared towards something, it's not something I like. I don't love when it's so direct. So like even like Jason Aldean's Small Town song, like I like it. It's fine. It's not something I don't think that it's just a great song just because it's going against woke stuff. You know what I mean? It's just not. That's not how I operate per se. I like when music is good. I don't need a message behind the music. And but I do think that it's good that we have a counter to the nonsense. But I really wish we just didn't have agenda-driven music, period, per se. It is what it is, though.
I think there's a place for it, like I think there's definitely a place for it, but it's just not going to be appealable to everybody. It's going to be a certain market, which is fine. As long as people understand that. All right. I think we're all caught up.
There we go. All right. So another Geeks and Gamers Daily in the books. And we have Mario Kart tonight and then Cobra Cast over on my D-Day Cobra channel. So I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate you guys back in Orlando. Got a lot of stuff planned, a lot of cool content for all of you. I hope you will join us tonight for Mario Kart. And Ryan, what do you got going on?
Nothing.
So he's such a positive force to be reckoned with. He's so positive.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, I appreciate you guys over on Rumble. And again, follow us on Kick. Kick has become one of my, if not my favorite platforms on the internet. I love Kick. And you guys have been massively supportive over there. So we really appreciate it. We're on Kick, obviously, with the Geeks and Gamers account, and then several members of the team are over there as well. So thank you guys. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.